Hi everybody, this is a video, a series of hopefully short videos that will aid you with the apology assignment for this week. So the apology, again, is a Socratic dialogue in which Socrates is defending himself against charges that were brought against him in Athens. And first thing you always want to do when you're doing an assignment is to read the instructions. So after you've read the apology, write an essay in which you A, identify both sets of charges that were brought against Socrates. So again, remember all of these things. Try to keep them all in mind as you're reading. So identify the charges, explain how Socrates responds to these charges, and identify the premises he uses to support his claims of innocence, if there are premises. Explain what Socrates claims is his role in Athenian society and how he knows that this is his role. So that's the third thing that you need to do. And then at the end, you should reflect on your own view of Socrates' guilt or innocence. Would you have voted to convict him or set him free? And then support your claims with your own premises and conclusions that relate to this. Okay, so again, if you haven't watched my How to Read Philosophy video, do that at some point. But I'm going to just start reading and kind of do the same thing that I did in that video. I'm going to try and do it in a little bit shorter chunks here so that we can split this up and you can basically just stop watching or whatever whenever you feel like it. But I'm also going to try to explain things as I go along, so hopefully you'll find it useful. So what we have here is basically Socrates is just going to be speaking throughout the entire apology from his own perspective. So it says, "How you, O Athenians, have been affected by my accusers, I cannot tell. But I know that they almost made me forget who I was, so persuasively did they speak. And yet they have hardly uttered a word of truth. But of the many falsehoods told by them, there was one which quite amazed me." All right, let's stop. Now, in the apology, we don't actually see what the accusers have presented before Socrates is saying this. So it's kind of like the apology starts with Socrates responding, and that's why he says, "How you, O Athenians, have been affected by my accusers, I cannot tell." So the accusers have obviously said something or presented a case or whatnot, and now Socrates is responding to them. So that can kind of be a little bit, can throw you off a little bit. So, but of the many falsehoods told by them, so Socrates is saying that they were saying false things about him, there was one which quite amazed me. And now he's going to tell which one it is. "I mean when they said that you should be upon your guard and not allow yourselves to be deceived by the force of my eloquence." So apparently the accusers said, hey, watch out for Socrates. He's very eloquent, which means he can speak really well. He uses rhetoric in such a way that he's very influential. And they're saying, be careful, he's going to try to manipulate you and deceive you. To say this when they were certain to be detected as soon as I opened my lips and proved myself to be anything but a great speaker, did indeed appear to me most shameless, unless by the force of eloquence they mean the force of truth. For if such is their meaning, I admit that I am eloquent. Okay, so Socrates here is saying, look, they said that I'm eloquent and I'm going to try to deceive you, but I'm not eloquent. So first of all, they're liars. But if they say that, if what they mean by eloquence is that he speaks the truth, then yeah, I guess I am eloquent. So Socrates is kind of being a little bit of a jerk here, right? Like you kind of get the feeling like that he's like perhaps not quite as genuine as most of us would be if we were in the court of law. Again here, he could be sent to a punishment of death, so this is not to be taken flippantly. But in how different a way from theirs, from their truth? Well, as I was saying, they have scarcely spoken the truth at all about me. But from me you shall hear the whole truth, not however delivered after their manner in a set oration duly ornamented with words and phrases. No, by heaven, but I shall use the words and arguments which occur to me at the moment, for I am confident in the justice of my cause, or I am certain that I am right in taking this course. At my time of life I ought not to be appearing before you, O men of Athens, in the character of a juvenile orator. Let no one expect it of me. Okay, so at this time, don't quote me on this, but I think Socrates is somewhere around 70 years old. And what he's saying is, Look, I'm not going to act like them with these great phrases and these speeches that I'm going to give before you. What I'm going to do is just present an argument to you. And I'm not going to act like a kid. I'm not going to act like a juvenile. And I must beg of you to grant me a favor. If I defend myself in my accustomed manner, and you hear me using the words which I have been in the habit of using in the agora, at the tables of the money changers, or anywhere else, I would ask you not to be surprised and not to interrupt me on this account. For I am more than 70 years of age. There we go. I'm more than 70 years of age, and appearing now for the first time in a court of law, I'm quite a stranger to the language of the place, and therefore I would have you regard me as if I were really a stranger, whom you would excuse if he spoke in his native tongue and after the fashion of his country. Am I making an unfair request of you? Never mind the manner, which may or may not be good, but think only of the truth of my words, and give heed to that. Let the speaker speak truly, and the judge decide justly. Okay, so here Socrates is saying, look, I don't understand legalese and the way that you guys speak, you know, objection, your honor, leading the witness, begging, whatever. He's saying, I'm going to speak the way that I speak in the streets. And what Socrates used to do is he used to walk around, and we'll find this out as we read the Apology. He used to walk around in Athens and question people about their claims of knowledge. So if you said to Socrates, I understand what truth is, or I understand what beauty is, or I understand what the holy is, then Socrates would most definitely want to get in a conversation with you, and he would say, what is your definition of the holy? And he would ask for a definition, and you would present a definition, and usually he would demonstrate how your definition failed in some way in the attempt to refine that definition to find the truth. Now, scholars differ on their belief about whether Socrates actually wanted to know the truth, whether he knew anything to be true. It's probably pretty evident that Socrates knew things like 2 + 2 = 4 are true. But other types of things like what is beauty, what is holiness, what is justice, those are things that he might not have had knowledge of, or perhaps that none of us have adequate knowledge of. So I'm going to stop there with this first part of the video. We've made it through about 1 page of the Apology. There's a lot more to go. I'm not going to do the whole thing. But if you're interested, I'll continue on in video 2.